I guess they sit in the back here, kind of like people from the wall or something.
Well, to be honest.
Well, that's too bad. That's too bad. What do you do? If you name them, you don't want to go more than name.
He can sit up here.
Yeah, you can sit. Yeah, you can sit. So just don't look us in the eyes.
Make it weird.
Yeah.
The
prayers. They have.
Y'all need Kenny? Y'all need Kenny or anybody?
No. Gotta make sure Scott's, here, man. This is an updated version of it, and there's a little bit better news.
Cell phones.
Yeah.
I like no news. No news is good news. No news. What's that song?
Tell I tell friend, tell I about where
I
you
got
been.
off on that song yesterday. How's the water level?
2 feet high and rising.
She lost the Osborne earlier. What?
She said, hey, she said 2 feet high and rising.
Yeah, it's rising in a hurry.
Chickens are roasting on the willow trees.
Cliff, did you listen to Ozzy earlier? Yeah, absolutely. We were rocking out in there.
Going off the rails.
So I had
Great, that's pretty small, really.
That's a whole lot of here. Guys, if y'all smell me, I can't help it. I've been riding on a big truck with no air conditioner all morning.
I thought it was me.
You don't smell any different to me now.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, dude. I can just go home.
Bad, bad.
In progress.
Did you make these numbers bigger?
So I fish and ask, you got this on a PowerPoint, don't you?
Yeah.
Good. I
Even
can't
with
see it. There you
my,
go.
even with my glasses, I think hard to read it.
All right, Mr. Scott, I need to, actually I need to get my screen up and. Yeah, there it is. Okay. We are ready to start our meeting at 2:01. Wow, thought it would be really late. This is the budget workshop, and the two primary goals that we have today is to decide a salary increase for the county employees and to determine which positions we're going to, new positions and upgraded positions, what we're going to do. So, and then my, once I have that information, then I will go home tonight and I will plug those numbers into the spreadsheet and get the budget updated with all the salaries, proposed salaries that we've got, because tomorrow we'll have to actually file the budget. So, how do I get this? Oh, go away. There we go. Let's get out of the way. Okay, it went backwards. So do this. We got we did the budget workshops. We did the select approve grievance Friday of this last week, we got the certified appraised rolls from the chief appraiser, and I have that letter that I'm gonna show you here in a minute. So today, our budget workshop is to kind of go over what we can try to figure out what we're going to get from the appraised values, and I'll do that. And then on tomorrow's meeting, we announce the proposed salary increases, and we file a proposed budget with the county clerk. Yeah, we don't have to actually vote on the budget. This is just the one I will be filing, and then I'll explain in there. And then Friday, the appraisal district will provide us with tax rates. Okay, again, we're required to get our budget filed by the 30th, and we'll find out what tax rates are available to us on Friday, the 8th, and then on the 13th, the Commissioner Court meeting, we will set the salaries for elected officials. And that we can discuss that today if it's going to be part of the percentage that we come up with. And then we have a public hearing on the proposed budget. And then we have consider the proposed tax rate, which we would have just found out on the first. So that is it. Then the 22nd is the grievance hearing. That's if any elected official desires to grieve their salary, they're not happy with the increase. And then on the 10th, the Commissioner Court meeting, we have a public hearing on the proposed tax rate that we decide. We have we adopt the tax fiscal year budget, the actual budget. And this is where we'll have several more budget workshops in order to adjust it. And then we will ratify the property tax increase in the budget. And we will adopt a tax rate. So the 10th of September is when all the major voting takes place. So please be sure to put that on your calendar to be here. This is the letter I received from the appraisal district on this, showing us what our appraised rates were, and they were significantly down from the letter we got in April. As far as what the taxable values are now, and the top column is what I used to put that initial presentation together. And then when I went back to get this letter to put up here for you to actually read it, then I realized down at the bottom half there, that is the property currently under protest. And it has a current tax value of $562,378,998. And that was not, I can't really put that in there. They say, it says right down on the bottom line, it says, do not use these numbers for estimating revenues. So I use these numbers to estimate revenues. Because I have nothing else to estimate with in that regard. But again, also we're doing is using the current tax rate that we have of 30.0587, I believe it is, and then 10 cents for the road tax was what I did to come together with a proposal. So, and this is where we're at. I'm gonna go down here and kind of highlight the areas. So these were the only numbers right here that we were given by the tax appraisal district, these numbers right here. So we had to calculate. So using these numbers right here, and the current period tax rate, this is how I got this 14 million and 4 million right there, 4.6 million. So a total of 19 million. Now, this column indicates what the end numbers were for fiscal year 24. So you can see that it was a decrease of $157,000 per $1 million, actually, a million in the property tax value, and the actual revenue is a decrease of $634,000. So new property or the frozen taxes went up. This is what part of the problem was. The taxable value went down 4.68, 4.84. That went down. The frozen property went up from 3.5 to 3.7. Okay, so that 2 compounded is what caused this number right here to go down, the total revenue estimated levy to go down. Okay, so, and then we take out roughly 3% for delinquency, which would make our tax roll or tax, property tax collections 22 million versus 22.5. Okay, however, and I just want to so you know, because I do include that, but it's not the new property that was included, which was 265 million. 267, going miles an hour.
265,000.
Yes, 200, oh, this is for the two. It was 265 million in new property, okay? That comes out to this 800,000, which is included up here already. It's included up there, but I just wanted to break it out to show you what we got new. But what we didn't show was, the property under protest. And it was from that previous screen, it was 500 million. And we had the potential to gain an additional 1.7 and then 562,000 or pretty 2.2 million. That would be the max. I'm thinking it'd be 1.5 million. So I'm thinking we can add 1.5 million to this right here. And it'll be pretty close to it. So we would exceed the total that we got last year. Okay, so, but again, that's all conjecture until we get tax rates available to us. We really won't know, but
So you're saying you're gonna base our budget off of about 25 million.
okay, no,
Right?
I'm not. Right now, the budget I'm gonna propose is going to be based on these numbers right here, less the protested. I'm not gonna put that in there.
Okay, all right.
And then everything that's in the expense side is what everybody asked for. Okay, I am not adjusting any of that at the moment. Everything that people ask for is in there. And then we're gonna have to come back once we know what our tax rate's gonna be and say, okay, this is what we can do and what we have to do. So that is that is that one. And then the road and bridge. And again, this you see these numbers didn't change from the sheets I gave you, kind of showing the comparison. And I didn't add in the protested values in here, but the protested values would take you to a positive amount, but not a whole lot as far as that goes. So what we need to do today is determine the salary increases that we want to provide for our employees. And I'm thinking that we're in like mine, but we'll find out today that our employees are what makes this county work. And I know Brandon and I have been working very hard since we got on board to try to get the pay scales adjusted and the employees pay a much more competitive and market rate. And we've accomplished that. We've gotten them with the first year we just did major adjustments. Last year we did a 5% increase. This year we have to decide, do we want to do, I calculated a 3%, a 4%, and a 5% salary increase and how that would affect our county or how it would affect our budget. So here, this slide is the 3%. So the total amount of increases, and this doesn't include any new employees, this doesn't include any of the adjustments that we're going to talk about in a minute. All this is where we're at right now, current payroll, current employees. So with the total of 3% would be 371,299 plus the 120, and that's increased healthcare costs. So we're looking at 491,229 for a 3% increase. Okay, so 4%, you're looking at a total of, with a 4% increase, 493,787 in the salary increases plus 120,000 for health insurance. You're looking at 613,787, and then at 5%, we're looking at 616,347 plus 120, so 736,347,000 increase to the fiscal year budget if we went with a 5% increase. So any insight or input or comments or questions about the three choices?
How much? I know we gotta put the onion on it, but you said you had the numbers for what everybody asked for.
Right?
What did that come out to?
I don't have that number with, you mean, you're talking about expense side or are you talking about salary side?
Both, just what
Okay.
everybody asked for and what they wanted in their budget.
Compared to the minimum we will get in.
No, just what was the dollar
I don't
amount,
have-
including salaries and everything that everybody asked for?
I don't have that with me,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
I have a sheet that does have that on there and I probably could load it, but it would take a while for me to get there. So I don't know.
It's hard for me to decide on the increase of raises if we don't know how much they ask for, like. How do you do that?
Okay, we tell elected officials that they're not to calculate the raises, that the county, the commissioner's court is the one that sets the percent increase across the board. Because you want to get away from the individuals setting up their different salaries, because we get to the point where we were before, where you've got some clerks making this amount, some clerks making this amount, and then when an opening comes, you start transferring people back and forth because they find out they can make more money in a different department when they're doing essentially the same job. So we kind of in 23 we kind of made everything uniform all the way across.
Do you have the I see what you're saying now. Do you have what everybody is asking for, not including salaries?
Yes, well, that's what this would be right here.
Okay, that's what this is.
Yeah, that's what that is
Okay, this
right
is
there.
not including salaries.
No, that is the salary amount. And it shows you what the very first column shows what it was for the 2025. And then the very last column shows you the increase. Or
I'm not making.
So what are you trying to figure out?
What I'm trying to figure out is take the salaries away. Because I know people ask for different things. What did when everybody asked for stuff, except for salaries, what did that number come up to? So what I'm trying to do is figure out, hey, that number came up to 24 million. Plus we still got the salaries, but we only got 23 million in here. Hey, I'm trying to figure out how much we're gonna have to cut to decide what percent we should do.
okay, well,
That makes sense to me.
okay, so when you say what we're going to cut, this doesn't include any employees.
Right.
This doesn't include any of the market adjustments or the others that we're gonna go through in a minute. All this includes, this is just taking what the salary, what the pay levels are today in current positions and adding a certain percentage to it for everybody. That's what this does right here. So,
So Judge, what I'm struggling with is like, if we're already short from what they're asking for, the things that they're asking for, compared to what you said we had 22,173,000.
right.
And if
But
we're,
then-
and if
well,
we're
how-
already short, how do we know how much we can give them?
Okay.
So we're starting with the increase.
Right, but, and that's what we have to come up with that.
Okay.
And what I thought became a unofficial standard is that we would allocate the total new property revenue to employees. Okay, that was kind of the guideline I was using. It wasn't anybody else's guideline, but that would be roughly up to the amount that's there. And so you're looking at, I think last year it was 700,000, and this year it's roughly $800,000.
Good.
So, you know, and technically, the problem that we have this year is that new revenue, that new property generated new revenue that was on top of what our existing revenue was. But this year, the property values went down, so our existing revenue essentially went down about $400,000. And so, now you gotta consider whether or not you're gonna allow the new property revenue to account for the amount of decrease in the property.
And we still don't have a perfectly accurate number that,
No, and we won't,
You're not gonna get one of those perfect accurate number, you gotta
we'll
guess
get,
it pretty
we'll
close.
get the tax
We do.
rates on Friday, which we can then apply and look at. And again, all of this is based on the current tax rate that we're using. And when they come back, they're going to give us two rates, a no new revenue rate and a voter approved rate. And the voter approved rate has a lot of adjustments to the tax base. And then once those adjustments are made, then it can add 3.5% increase, which is what the maximum state will allow us to increase without going to the voters for approval of election. So there's potential for more, but we won't know until we get the tax rates to do that. And so in that regard. So do we have any more comments? See, I think it's imperative that we do what we can for the employees, and I would definitely not want to go any lower than a 4% increase. But you're looking at the difference between 4% and 5% is about $120,000.
Difference on the 3%.
240,000. You got 491, 613, 736.
Okay.
so we're gonna use the new revenue money to give the employees raises.
Well, that's
What you planned on doing. Was an
that is
unspoken
kind of
law.
my guideline is what it was. What allows us to give the raises will be the new revenue. But you got to take into account, we got a lot of other increases and a lot of expense items too that are going to come into play that we don't have a choice in cutting or saying no to.
That's why I was asking. I guess just a ballpark. If no matter what percent we do, how much are we gonna have to adjust?
Right.
Everything else was trying, what was why I was trying to get at. Cause it's hard to do this, but I know we gotta do it, but it's hard to.
Am I wrong for, so like, this is my first rodeo. Am I wrong for looking down the road and saying, okay, somehow we gotta pay for the Paul Michael building? Does that enter into the equation at all? Like, how we're gonna do that? Or is that gonna be a
No.
bond issue, or is that we haven't really determined that. yet, have
Okay,
we?
as far as paying for the Paul Michael building, we have the money in the bank.
I'm talking about the restoration of it.
The restoration of it, that's up in the air. But we have already committed, we don't have the cash to do a full restoration or full finish out.
So am I wrong for thinking about that while I'm thinking about this?
No,
Yeah, but we talked about on the restoration, it going as a bond. That was discussed in one of the meetings.
That was discussed. We
If-
don't really have a plan set, but I'm not here to, I don't wanna make a big deal
No,
out of it.
but-
I'm just trying to figure out, can we afford to do $736,000? If we were gonna use that to piecemeal that out, are we gonna do a bond? Are we gonna piecemeal it out? I mean, like, I don't, or should that even be part of this equation?
As much, I'm probably gonna be in trouble for saying this, but as much as I love my employees, I don't see that we can do a 5%. I wished I could. But I've also asked for another hand,
I'm with you.
you know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me. I mean, as much as I'd love to do it, I just don't see where we can do that.
We've been asked to do a 2% max. Remember that on the retirement, that was presented to us. I mean, there are a lot of things been presented to us and I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's
Yeah,
one idea was to use that money to piecemeal that job, to pay for what we were gonna do in the Paul Michael building. So it's just real hard for me to make a decision when I don't know.
I know though, looking ahead on his paperwork here, just the changes in that is $500,000 payroll.
I'd like to mention something on the raises, that a lot of us were here when we didn't get raises, when they took away from us, we never gave it back. So that's for the people that were here a long time, you made money with it too.
Well, I'm not saying don't give no raise at all.
I'm talking about, consider that along with, the match. For us that are more the retirement age, that part doesn't mean as much to me as some of my staff that are much younger. That,
Do we,
I think Chris Martin said, that his people would rather have the money now than later on something.
That's what.
do we have the figure? I don't know, being you're new, I think we had it, I don't know where it's at. What it would cost to go from the 1.75 to the 2% match?
Yes, the last budget year, we got that number and it was around $250,000.
250,000?
To go from a 175 to what?
The two.
To 2.
Well, just based off of this right here, I'll give my opinion. I'd really. It makes fiscal sense, do the 3% and do the 2 to 1 instead of giving a 5% or 4%. You come up to the same figure.
Okay, but again, we haven't gotten an update on what that.
That's still 5%.
And you still have,
Pretty close to 5%.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you still have, to determine what you're going to do with the, former employees that are in the retirement system and how their contribution there.
But I think that that's a happy meeting.
but my thinking on that is. If we're sitting here discussing 5% and it's there. I'm thinking of an employee's mind here. And this will not take effect for people we know that are almost retirement age, so. It's just unfortunate for them, but for these younger people coming in. Long term. That 2 to 1 will add up for them long term. They're getting a 3% raise, but they're getting it's a whole lot more than a raise. When that 2 to 1 matches up when they're ready to retire. That makes some sense. Long term, it's better for them.
Well, I think it's a great concept. I think what you're saying is, I like it. I'm not in disagreement with you. I think it kills two birds with one stone, like you're trying to solve two problems. And you're being good to those that are short timers and those are long term employees. I'm just saying, like, it's hard to make decisions like that when you don't even know what you're dealing with and we don't know, and there's still a lot of variables that are coming. And is it like presumed that we're gonna raise taxes this year? Is that what the presumption is? I mean, it seems that way, like.
Well, last year we didn't raise them.
That was a mistake.
We actually lowered them.
Yeah,
No,
It was just a fraction over the no new revenue rate, just a fraction, about $50,000 over the no new revenue rate, which meant we would not raise any more revenue than the previous year.
Why did you do that? I'm just curious.
I think we all had different opinions for doing it, but I don't think it was a good decision to do it. After seeing the effects of what we've had, like everybody's out of money. So I mean, I voted. Well, I think we all voted for it, but I don't think it was a good decision.
The issue you have when you go with a no new revenue rate is you're effectively lowering the amount of money you'll be collecting. Not only for the next year, but for every year after that, because the maximum amount you can ever increase it over the previous year's rate, this previous year's collections, just 3.5%. So if you don't collect that 3.5% in the current year, then the amount of taxes, money that you collect is decreasing on a regular basis. But your expenses are increasing at the rate of inflation plus.
And that's exactly how this county got in the shape that they were in
Right.
20 years ago.
And, you know,
They did that and it put them in a big bind, like Sue just said, they had to furlough salaries. Some people didn't get, I mean, it was we were in bad shape because we thought the Commissioners Court thought they were doing right by lowering the taxes, but they may have been helping the people, but they crippled this county.
so it's in the best interest of the county and law, and I understand the logic that people have about using the no new revenue rate and that we need to be more efficient with what we have. And I think we're trying to do that as it is, but you can't carry that logic doesn't fall through or doesn't fly when your road and bridge materials have gone up 50% in the last 3 years.
At least.
Okay, and a Tahoe that we buy for the sheriff's office, when I came in, there were 38,000, now they're 55,000.
Is that why he's buying pickup trucks?
The pickup trucks are the same, 55.
They just feel like that the pickup trucks will hold up better
Yeah.
versus the top.
So,
Back.
well, not anymore, not anymore. They were those after COVID, for 3 years after COVID. You grab it, whatever you can get, and nowadays they're sitting on lots ready to be delivered in that regard, so we don't have that issue. But and actually there's discounting going on now for people, but so is the consensus here, and again, we're not voting, but 3% and add go up to 2%, the 200%.
No,
Yes, okay, what's your?
I just can't do 5%. I just can't do it. Like,
Well, he's combined it.
it's gonna be
Well,
five.
that would be
it's
5%.
5% either way you go at. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's just 5% said a different way.
Yeah.
Well,
A while ago
you said you couldn't do
A while
5%.
ago, you said you liked that though.
No, I like the concept of it. Like, I know he's trying to take care of the short termers and the long termers.
Yeah.
I get that.
So what you thought? Yeah.
Well, I'm very conservative. My thoughts are, in the corporate world, someone said in the corporate world, you get a 5% raise every year. I've never had that in my life. I never expected somebody to give me a raise every year. It's always been production oriented. So in government, I don't know if it's that way or not.
The corporate world is 3%.
Okay,
Well,
well,
I don't care what they call it.
Anyways,
But think about this. I've been in the corporate world and I've been self-employed, I've been both. And if, say we don't do anything, or we just give them a 3%, and I'm just gonna make up numbers here, say a county worker is making 50,000. And they can go over here and work for Joe Blow, doing the same work for 65, and this is what happened before. And I mean, I think more than judge paid credit for it doing this salary. The retention stayed, whereas before that salary happened, all we were doing is a training circle. We were paying money to train people and paying them. And when we got them already, they were gone and we were doing it again. You cannot retain people if you do not keep up with the corporate world and the private entities. You have to keep
well,
up.
I would test that against the salary you have right now, as far as my road hands. I would test that. I don't think I could run mine off. I haven't tried yet.
That's totally different than first.
I understand, yeah.
I'll tell you right now, and it takes a long time to. Because we, even though we can't give you advice, because we're not attorneys. We have to know a lot of laws, so we have to study a lot. We do a lot of the paperwork and you have to know what we do. And believe me, when we go to these schools and I take my deputies with me, they are trying to steal in left and right. And work for me, we pay this, insurance might be better, this will give you more days off, whatever. They're all they I mean, used to the commissioners too much to shopping in my home. I've gone to the mountain for it.
Which brings me to another point. Our insurance plan is better than anything I've ever seen. We have a sweetheart grandfather deal that we don't want to give up, at all. And, a lot of people would be very excited. It's hard, it's an attraction to those that need it in that regard. But we do pay for that. And there's a point in time, like we went up $70, $50 to $70 a person this year. So that we're right at a little over $1,000 we're paying per month per employee. And, and we pay the whole cost. But you'll find other counties that they don't pay the whole cost. They share the cost with the employee. And, at some point in time.
I use that when I hire people.
Yeah.
I use that as a part of, that's true, it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, it's not much of a difference, but. And I mean, I know we don't have any figures on it, but what if we backed it up to a 2% and go up to the 2?
Well, if one,
I mean, 1%.
Why don't we just skip the raise this year and give them a 2% match? This year and give them a raise next year. See, like the average person out on the street that's working, trying to keep their property, they just wonder when is the taxes, when it's gonna end, like how many more times it's gonna go up. And we're telling them right now, there's nothing we can do, it's gonna go up every year. And I'm gonna do something in my department, like I'm gonna try my best, I know y'all are too. I'm streamlined right now because of what happened to me last year, so I'm pretty streamlined.
but are you looking at taxes in general? Because
I'm looking at government expenditure.
Take Grand Sling, for example. They just voted to have a new school, voted to raise their taxes.
I ain't talking about the school tax.
I know,
I'm
but
talking about what I can control.
hold on, but these property taxes that people look at, the county is the least of everything.
Right.
It's
I
the school.
understand that. I had a guy tell me that this morning. He said, I know it's school tax, but he said, this is what I'm paying.
The school is about 70% of it, and we're at about, the county's at about 40% of it.
Well, I'm just, look, hey, I'm telling you, I'm not doing 5%. I might be the most hated person in Van Zandt County, but I'm not doing 5% this year. But I'm just one little voice in the sea of voices.
Well, I think we should do 5%. I think we've got a good base and I want to reward them and keep them. Because the worst thing you can do is to lose experience. Once you lose experience, you start getting, when the new people come in, you get slowed down with the training, and then there's errors, and those errors cause additional costs. I think that 5% to help retain the people we have, even though the 5% was still, most employees in this county could go work in another county making $10,000 more easy, but they choose to stay here because of the benefits and of the in that regard.
What's your opinion on the 3-2?
I don't know. It's
I like it better than 5.
You want to do the 5 and 2?
Is that what you're saying? It's my opinion that people want to see the money now.
And you're right, Judge. People want to see it now because humans are programmed for now.
Right.
But you do that 3-2, which is what I like. In 20 years from now, they'll be like, hey, damn, I'm glad we did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not what I think.
But that's assuming that we're still at the county.
Yeah.
But I think this, just like you said, you give them a 5, you retain it. I think you retain them with the 3-2. I think they see that. That's me personally. I mean, I don't know. I'm speaking for me. If I'm a 25-year-old kid and didn't go to college and I need a good job, man,
that 2% would have made a difference to me at 25.
it would have.
Not
But
well, it would, but it wouldn't here.
It wasn't here. That's the problem.
It wouldn't.
It wasn't here.
It wouldn't, because I wanted that down.
Yeah.
But it will.
Now I see that, but
Exactly.
then at 25 or 30,
But we're giving them 3% raise, which keeps them competitive to what they could do anyway. So they're getting the raise, but we're helping them for long term in retirement. So I think you're killing two birds with one stone.
I don't disagree with you. I like that too. I've heard people say though that, you know, a 3% just covers the increase of the insurance,
Mhm.
what it costs them. So but they're still not losing anything. At that point.
What, run that by me again, 3%,
So the increase of the insurance, the
that,
cost of it, but that don't affect it.
that doesn't, is that, we're paying for it.
So
So they're essentially getting whatever
3%.
that is,
if they get
$100 a month, $1,200 a year, already.
Right.
Increase.
I'm just, Cliff's being very, very quiet over there. He ain't giving an opinion.
Scary.
We're waiting for the wizard to speak.
I think that, you know, this is my first foray into, the budget process in the county. And I really can only talk about this from the corporate side of things, and I can't understand how, when the department heads spent $0 this year and $0 last year and $0 the year before that in the budget line item, why there's still $5,652 in that budget line. I think that from the very beginning, that each one of the department heads should have looked perhaps a little closer at their budget, and if they haven't spent anything in a particular line item, that should have been eliminated. And it's a tedious process, but that shocked me because I think that there's every single budget, and 5,000 here and 10,000 there and 15,000 on another line item, they're all going to add up and give us a clearer picture. And then going on to the next question, I think there are people out there in the community. I haven't seen any reduction in market value of properties yet. We had a reduction in the market value of properties, and specifically around in precinct 1, where certain things are in the news right now. They had substantial reductions in property values in the appraisal side.
They did,
I don't know how that works.
they did in two,
And
in precinct 2 too. didn't
so we
they? None of it.
and I don't see how you actually can, you know, until you know what your funds are, give a good, honest idea of what you can afford to spend when you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know where you're at. And I
I can
understand
tell
that.
y'all right now in our, recordings right now, we're extremely low. The last like several weeks,
Yeah.
like it's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and
Actually, the clerk's office is doing better this year than last year. What was budgeted, they're doing quite a bit more.
right,
But
but
just the clerk's office is the only one.
But if you look at the number of their revenue from warranty deed and deed of trust transactions in East Texas definitely are down. And, you know, it throws a bunch of red flags up to me, is I think you have to take care of your people. I do agree with that. I think you have to take care of your people, but I can see no clear way for any capital projects, no courthouse renovations, no, no Paul Michael buildings, no, build outs there. Do we know what our cash position is yet? Do we know how, if we begin if we look at what our cash position is and the money that hasn't been budgeted in the past, are we going to budget it this year? And do we want to use any portion of that?
Do you want me to address that?
That'd be great.
I do.
Hold on,
Not you, son.
on Cliff's, on that, when he's talking about the appraisal district, I looked at this, I got an email yesterday. But talking about appraisal district, I just went around the county on the CAD looking. And I don't know who governs the appraisal district, but they have no consistency. And I'll just give you an example here. I took my place. My place went down a substantial amount. The place right next to me went up a substantial amount. There's no houses. It's just land. So how can my land go down a substantial amount and his land go up a substantial amount when we're connected to each other? And it's like that all over the county. There is no consistency on how they are appraising this stuff.
I looked up some of my stuff, my rental properties and where I live and everything. And some of my rental properties went down considerably, and where I live went up, and another one of my rental properties went up. consider.
There's
I don't
no
know-
consistency
I don't know
with this
how
appraisal
they're doing
district.
It makes it really difficult to
Right.
put it in, but I absolutely believe that if we don't support those current employees that are here with us right now, I think that's detrimental to us. But I can't see, you know, any capital projects, you know, until such time as we get our handle on some of these other issues. I'm very concerned.
Let me tell you, what our cash position is, because I've seen the preliminary audit from, that's gonna be presented tomorrow. And, we had projected last year that we'd end with 14 million in our cash.
Mhm.
We ended up with 15.5.
I
So
think that,
we went up.
I think that.
Now-
Yeah.
Now, we budgeted last year because we didn't do a tax increase.
Mhm.
We basically budgeted to go 3 million into the cash reserve.
Yeah.
So the question comes, and we won't find this out until next year, is how much do we go into it? But I am convinced that we will probably pretty much break even because of the things that I found that we had budgeted that we're not gonna spend, in that regard.
And I think
That's helpful, that's helpful to know.
So I'm not-
Considering that,
I am not uncomfortable budgeting, going into, 1.5 million. I'm not uncomfortable with doing that.
we also have taken into consideration. We know we have the cash in the Palm office building. We are gonna have to, or this is my opinion. Finish it out at least for a tactic office,
yeah,
because we start paying rent on there in August. There's no sense in renting that place if we got a place they can go.
Okay, well, I will disagree with that, depending on what the rent, if it's $600 a month. I would much rather pay doing that until we can come up with a plan, because you're talking $200,000 to $300,000 minimum to come up with a renovation to make office space in there. Okay, and I did throw into the new budget, utility costs for Paul Michael's building.
okay.
I did add that in there, what my projections are for that, just to make sure we have that. Even if we don't end up using it, we will still have those. Yes.
I think in the accounting world, some of the things that you hate to see are a bunch of things in the miscellaneous column. Because to me, everything needs to be in its spot and it needs to be accounted properly. But the other thing is that if you budget, to spend $10 million and you actually spend $8.5 million, some people would say, hey, that's really great. But I think in the corporate world, that's, boy, you really need some additional work on your budget.
Yeah, you're not very accurate
Yeah,
in your
not very
forecasting.
So I would prefer that we maybe, I know that we have statutory requirements related to budgets, et cetera, but I think we need to be a little bit more specific. And maybe tap on all the department heads to say, let's be a little more specific about these particular areas. And I did that in my own budget. I cut, severely in some of these areas so that I could put more money in road and bridge. And if I didn't spend anything, I kind of eliminate it. I believe that we all need to do that. I don't think that's possible in road and bridge because we have materials, we have equipment, we have repairs, we have things that we absolutely do. But I think there were several budgets that had several thousands of dollars in them that nothing had been spent in those yet. They've just rolled over. I just want to keep that. Well, no, I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to be more particular about how we budget and try to get closer to what we budget.
I was glad to hear you say that road and bridge wasn't kind of not impossible to do that, but it's hard to do that.
It is.
Because
It's
we have so many different parts movies.
Yeah, you don't know when it's gonna break down.
Right.
You just don't.
Because I'm finding myself now at the end of the year moving money around to try to make things work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I've got,
And I hate doing that.
no, I've gotten, no, that's.
You shouldn't hate to do it.
Well, no, but I've set a I didn't set this budget, but I've got a budget and I like to stay with my budget. But at the same time, I still have to operate. I still have to do the work that is expected of me. So therefore, I have to take that money over here and put over here
Yeah,
to make it work.
Let me see your calculator.
Well, I don't wanna get in another rabbit hole, but, the cumulative increase in road base material, it was $1 million. I don't know where we got $1 million. You know, it's not coming out of the road tax money. You know, so we are gonna have to, and again, these are things we're gonna address after tomorrow's budgets are posted. But, I had, and I'm kinda in the same agreement with, or not kinda, I'm in 100% agreement with, Commissioner Williams about line items that people are budgeting every year and they never spend it. And if, with y'all's permission, I'm gonna go lower those particular ones, if y'all are in agreement, so they're gonna do that.
I'm in agreement with it because I think we need to get as close to what we're actually doing as possible. So I'm in agreement with you. Judge, on
Okay,
that.
well, I will do that, not at this budget, but the next, not the one we're gonna present, but I don't have time to do it. But I may, but also, the, fuel cost, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna figure out, because we're getting 20 cents a gallon deduction, I'm gonna start deducting. So, from that and, postage, so that I'm not using postage, things like that, so, it depends on,
That's
what
where
time I,
our department started saving, because we started doing e-reporting, so we budgeted just not knowing how much we could save. So we budgeted on the right for the budget, but we actually ended up saving quite a bit.
Yeah, that's it. That's the way.
and one of the things that will happen is we are going to have a huge contingency amount. Because that is going, one of the things that I've learned is you are supposed to have budgeted for all of your available funds.
That's right.
And we don't. And so the way to do that is just put it all in your contingency. So we're gonna have a huge contingency. And I'm not opposed, if we go in and we do these cuts on all these different departments and stuff. If they can, you know, based on history. And if they run out of the budget money, they can come to the commissioner court and say, I need some more. We will
And
go
not
into.
be ranked over the coals. I
Right.
think that is the problem we ran into.
That's
Is that when
that's
we
a
would go
valid
back
point.
to the court, and I've seen it done, especially
Valid point.
with some of the constables and stuff like that, and they would.
Right.
they would not-
I understand. I know what you're saying, but I think, you know, I will get it on recording where I say, we're gonna slash it now
Absolutely.
under with the realization that we can come back and give you more if it's justifiable. If we see that you're spending it appropriately or you had an unanticipated expense come up, that we can go ahead and take it out of contingency at a later point in time. But at least, you know, that's what built our cash balance is we were zero-based budgeting. And they were coming in at the end of the year with 1.5 million under budget. And that's what was going into the general fund for multiple years. That's what built it up to where it was at. And even the first year that we did it, we budgeted 1.5 million into the hole. And we came up even. So, but I don't know what we're gonna come up with this other, because we lost a lot of revenue in that regard, but we're not, again. I'll look at it tonight, but we need to make a decision, you know,
Can,
whatever decision we make today. If we decide to change it between now and the final budget, I have no problem with that. Because I have the spreadsheet all set up.
can I make the argument for my 3-2?
Yes,
All right. Let's just say an employee makes $50,000. If you give them a 5% raise, they're gonna make 52.5. If you give them a 3% raise, they're gonna make 51.5. So that's $1,000 a year. So you make you make 2,500 if you give them a 5% raise, and you make 1,500 if you give them a 3% raise. So it's $1,000 difference.
right,
In my opinion, $1,000, you know, is it's about $800 a month. But that $1,000 for 1 year does not over time does not make up for that 2-to-1. Does that make any sense?
Can I get a clarification on now we're not actually one, right? We're 1.5 or
175.
1.75, so we're talking about 0.25.
0.2. Going up to
Just
two.
up a quarter.
Just going up to 2.
Yeah, it's what
It'd be 0.25 raise, increase.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right,
25%.
0.25%. So the people who worked here and have now retired, they would see a change?
Well, that's where you have to make a decision,
Right.
when you do this raise. Is it retroactive to the other employees or is it not? You can do that. And the making it retroactive added, I think, again, my numbers can be wrong, another $75,000.
So, and I think that's probably what everybody who's retired would ask, that their members, that we make it retroactive. So, you know, I've been in situations before where people say, I don't like that you have hired X, Y, Z at this rate, because that's, you know, I've given you all these years and there's a Bible, story, scripture related to this. And you have these folks that have worked here for a long time and they've retired and now they would like a little raise. There's nothing wrong with that. But they worked for a rate and they agreed to work for a rate and their retirement. And now they're coming back asking for a little bit more.
I don't.
Jessica, if you're watching,
Yeah, I've been
get us some
out
numbers.
of the corporate world too long, but I'll give, let's just use the NFL for example. In 1990, you had $1 million a year contract. Oh my word, you know, it's great. And they're at $1 million. Now you're making 35 million. Well, you think Troy Aikman's mad at Dak Prescott because he's making 60 million when Troy Aikman's making 1 million? See, he's not getting retroactive to 60 million.
Sure is.
Well, I'm
He
the
just-
only one,
they
I'm
paved
the
the
only
way.
one in here that is retired. And my retirement will never go up. It's what it is. And I'm not gonna be able to go back and ask them for any more.
Yeah.
So
It's the way it usually works.
I'm not,
Say my husband's the opposite, it's like 70 years.
yeah. And so, and I mean, I work.
But he knew that when he was working, he knew that, you know, when he retired,
But I'm just saying, he gets a raise every year from his.
Yeah.
Retired.
Well, I mean, I guess I could get a raise because my money's actually drawing interest. So I could, but that's the only way. I couldn't go back and ask for it.
Get it.
And I worked over 25 years at that place.
No matter what you do
So-
or what we do, you're not gonna make everybody happy.
No,
You know, you're not gonna do it.
Well, you can, if you give them 5% raise and add 2% and make it retroactive.
Well, then you're
I
broke.
could- Yeah, and I can't
Broke
go
it
for
was.
that. I could not go for
Well,
that.
I mean,
Not-
we're over.
I appreciate
I mean,
the.
I'm not saying we're broke.
Worked here and retired, but my concern is the current employees, and I wanna make sure that they get taken care of. Because they're the ones that are gonna help us get the job done.
I still think we gotta be careful with how we take care of them, because I think we can do too much at one time.
Okay, so look, I want to just make a statement. I'm for the employees. I'm just looking at the numbers. And I'm saying, how do we do that without taking it out of the people's pockets to do it?
Well, I don't think that you have to take it out of the people's pockets in order to do that. Some things in my plan have changed, you know, by necessity. But we just heard from the judge that this last year, we increased our cash reserves by $1.5 million.
That's right. Are we willing to turn loose to that?
I'm willing to turn loose of it, you know, personally.
Can I get a new blade?
The issue is, just like we were willing to go in the negative last year by not doing a tax increase, just using the same tax rate. We knew when we budgeted, we were going $3 million into the reserve. Okay, but we won't know
What was actually,
where we'll actually be until, you know, probably October or November, whether or not we actually did that. So, you know, to say, again, I'm comfortable budgeting up to 1.5 million into the hole. And with the but now if we're gonna be more stringent on the budget and not let people budget money that they're not spending. then I would take that number down. Because, that was what was getting us the additional money, was people budgeting stuff that never got spent.
And you're right, they should not be abused when they come back and ask, and quite honestly, to put a little caveat on that. If a elected official comes in and asks to modify or move money within their budget, not asking for any more, they should be given the approval to do that.
Absolutely.
This is their-
That's absolutely, I believe that,
Do we plan on putting,
because it happened in here last. year.
cause when I talked to Allison or Bass, I can't remember which one. Say you got the 15 million in the general fund. We need to keep 6 million
In the
in the reserve, second account. But that other 9 million needs to go to contingency, whether it's used or whether it's not,
Right.
it's available.
Right.
That should be split, is what you're saying.
The
Up
6
front
million,
right now.
the 6 million should go into a vault and not be
It's
touched.
it's in its own separate account, but what it is, it's not budgeted. There's a $6 million hole in your budget that you haven't budgeted for anything, and that's what that's for.
Okay.
And that's a true emergency, that if you have a true emergency, then you can have your meeting and say, it's emergency, we need to use that money.
But everything else go to contingency. If that would have happened, we wouldn't be in this problem where we're at with Paul Markle now.
And if it's the consensus of the court at this point, as it appeared to have been, that the Paul Michael building be closed on, I would hope that at some place in the budget line items, that money
It's
is.
there. It's there. I'm about to put it in there.
Well, I'm in favor of the 3-2. I think it's good for the current long-term employees. And it helps them a little bit with the 2. But as far as, the younger generation coming up, wanting to work here, it's an incentive for them to work and we can keep them. And it takes care of them long-term. So I'm in favor of the 3-2. That's what I like the best. That's Brandon Barton's opinion.
Well, I guess I'm coming down to what's the lowest common denominator we can accept? Can everybody accept those 3% and nothing for the retirement?
Yeah, okay.
So we start with that, put that in the budget, and we can do more research on the retirement. And once we have some hard numbers on the retirement, when we come back, we can actually look at implementing that. So
So you're saying go 3%.
3%
Stay at
increase.
175.
And stay at the 175 for today.
Yep.
And then,
And look at
and
it.
give us more time to work on what
Yes.
the actual cost to go to 2.0 is.
I can live with that.
So, are we good with that? Okay, that'll give me some time. Now
Even
we'll,
though we're not voting on anything today.
that is correct. It just
No,
gives
no,
me
it's-
guidance on what to put in the spreadsheet, so I only have to do it one time. So, one time for the next. So for now, we can move into payroll changes. These are position changes. I've categorized them out in different positions. There's election administration. There's market adjustments. Market adjustments mean we're increasing somebody's pay because that particular position justifies it. There's new full-time positions. There's position reclassifications. That would be somebody wanting to go from a clerk to a deputy clerk or a chief clerk or something like that. There's a DA supplement adjustment, which I really should have just taken that out, but I don't want to explain to you what I was doing there. The DA and district judge supplement. So, and you see there's a summary of what that's $708,000. And again, that's pretty extreme, and we need our guidance to figure out what we think is the best. So first we'll go to election administration. And I think this is a no-brainer decision. We need to do it. What we're doing is essentially taking 2 positions out of Susan's county clerk and creating a new department called Elections Administration with those 2 positions. But the election administrator, EA, would be making more than they were making as an assistant deputy clerk. So the net effect to doing that and having now an elections administration would be $8,131. That would be the increase.
Yep.
We good with that?
And that's because she's just using people out of her office that she
Well,
already
Susan,
paid.
Susan was already in her department
Right,
and,
I have Shannon and then.
Right.
I'm sorry, yeah.
no, well, that's, I was just making that
Yeah.
clear. Because I thought that's what we had discussed when we talked
Right.
about doing this, was that you were just gonna use people, that's the reason it didn't go up any more than it went
Right.
up.
So no objections?
No objection.
Okay. Next one, these are market positions. The district judge, pointed out one when he did his presentation, and I mentioned it in mine too. For the court reporter position, we currently have 2 court reporters, one at 86,000, one at 84. The request was to take their salary to $99,000 because all of the surrounding counties court reporters are at over $100,000 already. And the point being made that if one of the court reporters should retire or resign or leave, you're limited to hiring someone off the street for what the current rate is. And that rate would, and they wouldn't be able to get anybody. And what they're having to do right now is pay a day rate for somebody to come in and do court reporting as needed. And I haven't done an analysis on that, but that is an incredibly difficult thing to do because these court reporters have lots of different temporary jobs, and make sure you have one when you need them is very difficult. So that's the first request. And then I'm making a request that, and it's almost a demand. I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, but our IT department, the salaries are 71, 60, and 61. And you cannot hire somebody with qualifications for that kind of money off the street. And you go to Smith County and they have a whole horde of IT people. And the minimum is roughly 75,000 to get to start on. I saw that they were hiring another network administrator, and it was not 74,000 is what they were offering for it. And so I believe that just about $10,000 up on their base salary right there would help us keep and retain the knowledge that we have. And again, although two of our IT people have many years of service here, they know our system, and that would really help to keep them and retain them. And then the third one we just got has a lot of about value too. So, and I know it's tough to say, well, they agreed to work for that, but they can make a lot more somewhere else if they so choose to desire, and we couldn't replace them. That's the bottom line. It's kind of an insurance policy in that regard. So thoughts?
There's a lot of insurance policies.
What's the next page look like?
Uh,
That's what I want.
They go
I
higher.
mean, I could come, I mean, you get to talking 16% increase just overnight. That's a lot.
Well, I just got.
Are they gonna get the 3% on top of that?
No, if you look at the bottom of the page, it says that the 5% increase would not apply to these positions, to these changes.
I mean, we're talking about cutting a lot of other money other places too. Man, I'd be going for $10,000 a year.
What is, so
I
what
just
are
think
you,
it's-
Judge, what are you trying to get them to? I mean, like, are you working out a plan to get them to more than that next year?
I'm not, we did an adjustment in 23, it was very low, but it was a lot more than 5%, I believe, 23. And I have no ultimate goal to get them, but I can tell you an IT director was anywhere else, any other county would be making well over $100,000.
Quit talking like that.
Well,
I'm just messing with you.
So
like,
we have Don Bell, who's the IT director in Smith County. He lives in Anthony County, and I met and talked with him. And I would love to have someone with his knowledge, but he could never afford him for his expertise. But
I don't know.
So, meet me halfway. If you won't meet me all the way, or meet us halfway.
Meet you halfway.
Can we do that?
I could meet you halfway.
I can meet you more than that. I mean, like. I mean, that's a lot, but I mean, it's like,
It's
if we're talking about, we're comparing people to,
It's $67,000 with insurance. And if
Yeah.
you meet him halfway, you're looking at what, 33,500?
no, I'm talking about, IT.
All right,
This district court, there's no, I mean, we're gonna have to go there.
yeah,
Those are few and far between.
but still, you're talking about 30,000. And if
This,
you
we're not
meet
chiseling,
halfway,
we're not
it's-
chiseling this in stone right now.
No,
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead. Next page.
Go ahead, halfway,
No, I mean, like,
or leave them there. All right, I'm taking that. I'm taking it and I'm putting it in there. And I appreciate
we'll
it.
see where we come out at.
All right, next one is position reclassifications. We've got, human resources, the assistant wants to move up to deputy assistant and basically a deputy clerk. Pay rate at 45,000. And quite frankly, I don't believe she has the responsibilities or that would justify going up there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. The civil court coordinator, Judge Winters has hired a new court coordinator that came in at a low rate last year when they established the CPS court. And now she's fully trained and is technically a court coordinator. And so that would be raising her up to what the court coordinator pay rate is. And it's roughly $8,000 increase.
What is that? What does she do? I meant to talk to Judge Winters about this, and I haven't had a chance, but
There's a lot of background paperwork and processing that goes on for each one of these cases, and that notifying the lawyers and notifying the victims and whatever. And they're the ones that are responsible for getting all the paperwork done before the court case happens and after the court case happens. And trust me, it's significant at times. So, but essentially, she is doing the same job as Ashley, but doesn't currently have the same amount of experience. It's the only difference, but they're doing the same work.
but is she though?
But is she?
That's the question.
Okay.
One of them is handling civil, and Ashley. handles
Civil and criminal, yeah. So,
So it's split.
We can keep them on there, because we're gonna have to fill all this stuff anyway. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, I'll tell you, on all of these, if there are people who are asking for increases or we have increases, whether it's hard to fill their positions or not, if they're not doing their jobs and people are having to wait on things, then those, I'm not necessarily gonna be as apt to
right,
vote in favor.
right.
So, that's for prior pages and these pages and future pages. If we have problems in our county with employees that can't get stuff accomplished, then I'm not, even if I'd rather replace them.
Right. I agree. The situation is, we as commissioners don't have the authority to replace them.
That's right.
It's up to the elected official to make that determination.
Or the non-elected official in some of the department.
That's true.
cases.
Yeah. So, court coordinator, yes, no?
Oh, I'm fine. That, you got a court coordinator there that has a high pressure job. That is,
And again, that was a new position last year.
Yeah.
That was a new position. So,
Is she the lady that was the cowboy?
no,
no, she's
No.
in this office here,
Oh, okay.
the county court of law, that second. The new
I
edition.
think she's talking about Jennifer. You talking about Jennifer Taylor?
Jennifer, he's talking about.
Yeah,
That's the JB office.
JB.
With the cabinet.
Right.
Yeah, so
all right.
this is for county court of law,
I wasn't sure what she did.
Okay. She is the youth diversion coordinator.
Right.
All right, so maintenance, this is to make both the maintenance positions equal. One is lower than the other and they should be equal. It's $3,500.
Is that's not Chris's job, that's just the
No.
two helpers.
John and Aaron.
Yes, that's the maintenance people. So, okay, DPS office coordinator, this is Monica. Nobody knows Monica. I've met her once or twice. Maybe she's watching. Hi, Monica. But, and again, Officer Skinner was here and explained he was requesting to get her raised up to a chief deputy, chief clerk position, ranking, because although she is the only one, she's basically the office manager for the Department of Public Safety, and she has up to 11 troopers reporting to her that she has to help and get all the paperwork done. She's one of 12 over there. So I'm in full agreement that probably would be a good thing to do.
Sure. We gave her glowing reports and, it's
Yeah.
and
And
high pressure job. If she doesn't do her job, then our prosecutors can't do theirs.
I think he said he couldn't do his job without her.
right. And he was really concerned about losing her, but for over a pay.
Yeah, and experience at the JP's office, so she knows how their side works also.
Yeah, it's something.
Okay, next is the jail. And they want to change a clerk that is working part-time at 27,000. They want to make them full-time, and that a full-time deputy clerk or whatever at 45,100 is adding another 27,400. And again, the jail asked for two positions. Actually, this and the maintenance guy.
So is that their chiefs? Deputy clerks? And that's just their clerks.
I don't know.
That was a part-time. 27.
Yeah, it was part-time at 27, and I think they want to go up to. I mean, we don't have to take it to 45.
Is it gonna be a full-time position? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
and they'll be adding insurance, so. Questions? We good with that?
What does he work part-time, 30 hours?
Who?
This guy. Or this
Just work
clerk.
over 30.
This clerk? I don't know the exact hours, but.
32 max.
It'd be
They do
under
read
30
30.
hours. It's usually 30.
Maybe
hours.
it's 30.
They tell
Up
me
to
30.
30, up to 30.
And we're gonna double their pay for 40 hours?
I guess, again, it could be that they were only working 20 hours.
And you may work only 10 hours one week and you may work 20 hours another week.
You might have to reach out to the sheriff and just find out particulars on it.
Okay,
I mean, let's leave it as.
We can leave it as
as-
it is, but let's check that out.
Yeah.
no, we'll raise it to half of that and then reach out to the sheriff.
Okay.
It's like, okay, do we need to change it? Okay, but yes.
So instead of 27, you're gonna give what?
I'll
13.
have to get more. I'll get more information before we do it, so. Next one is, the sheriff's office. This is a no-brainer. He just wants to bring the criminal case coordinator up to the same pay level at the other, same person, the other person in the office is doing it. And it's $2,100. So there's no objection to doing that, is there? Okay, all right, so that's that one. Next, we got the DA supplement. I just threw this in here. It's really just a footnote. The DA has 3 different, she has people who get paid through the regular fund and are on our salary budget. And then she has supplements that are available to her. One is the rural law enforcement or the rural DA supplement she gets of $250,000. And then there's several others related to forfeitures and things that she has coming in, other grants. And so the money gets allocated different ways. And all we're doing in this particular case is is the two, the investigator and featured officer are currently getting, $18,000 and $11,000 in, what's called SB 22 supplements. And she wants to use those supplements for something else. So rather than pay them the supplements, she wants to raise the pay rate of these two positions to a chief investigative support. I forget what the exact position is, but they're existing positions. I have to go look at my sheets. Anyway, the net effect's $437. And the supplement amount that we're reducing here is actually going to be used toward one of the new employees that we'll get to in a minute. So is there any objections to this right here? I just wanted to kind of explain why, because if you look at the salary sheets when they come out, they'll show these people getting a raise, when in fact they're not really getting a raise. They're just supplementing, the supplements being removed from their pay, and they're paying them through the regular payroll. So that's what that is. All right, next time, new full-time employees. And again, that $29,000 that I took away on supplement pay here is actually going toward the civil lawyer. And the actual pay here would be 70,000 and not, or 71,000 and not 100,000. But I left it there for just simplicity's sake, right there.
Can we get a civil lawyer for 71,000 because we hired?
No, we'll still pay them 100.
100.
But they're getting 29 out of a
That's
different supplement account rather than, they're still getting 100,000.
Because I don't know what we've been paying them, but they stay for 2 weeks and they're gone.
Yeah, well, 2 months and even that's.
So what, I have no idea what they're worth, but what do we pay them to?
But
Evidently,
there is an agreement that we need this position, correct?
Yes,
Especially in light of the civil litigation that we are filing. You know, my concern is, we've kind of got newbies that have come in this position, and I really would like to see us get someone with experience, but I don't know.
yeah, that's my question. What do we pay them to retain them when they stay?
Yeah, well, that kind of goes with any of the civil, or any of the lawyers over there. In that regard, because again, they can go neighboring counties and make more if they so choose. But we try to stress the environment and I don't know what
I
else.
don't think you want to stress the environment.
Well, yeah.
2% retirement.
Environmental chances, challenges that they'll have. So, all right. So, but is there agreement that we do want to add this position?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
My-
All right, IT desktop support. I'm going to say that if you've agreed to do the supplement to the 3 guys that are in there, that we can do away with this.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
I'm gonna do that. The fire marshal has asked for 2 positions. One is an environmental compliance officer, which he has one now, so it's in back 2, at $55,816. And then a chief deputy clerk. He's got a clerk right now, and he wants to do an additional position of the chief deputy clerk for handling the paperwork involved. And you know, I am quite confident that once this department gets rolling, they will easily cover those costs with fines and fees and permit.
Well, that is possible, though that it doesn't come out of our general fund, it does come out of fire marshal.
I talked to Kevin the other day. And I asked him, I go, you're asking for 2 people, how can you justify this? And he called me back the next day and they have produced, I guess, $600 and something thousand this year. So I think it pays for itself.
I'm not concerned about paying their salary because I think they do that out of the work that they do, but I'm not just concerned about where they're putting them on the roof.
Well, come November 15th and getting some, maybe we can get it. We got a spot for them. Maybe
Well,
they take a little bit. But we got a spot.
could do like Pat Jordan did up in the jail, you know, put them in 12-hour shifts.
I guess.
Have a night shift or something.
One of their meetings last week, the week before, And I was actually impressed at everything that for Zandt County, all the different counties were there or whatever. And I was actually impressed with what, for how many people we have, everything that they actually do.
Mhm.
It's substantial, and not only that, but he's been absolutely knocking it out of the park as it relates to battery energy storage and a lot of these other things that he's doing. I mean,
I'm just saying.
you know, he was telling me about having to chase down a fellow that had been doing some arsons down in precinct 2, and it doesn't matter what the time or hour of the day, it's like adjusted the piece, these JPs get called out at all hours. And they just do it, and I'm impressed with the fire marshal's office and thankful for their service.
So, I firmly believe that it'll be a zero-sum gain, I guess you'd call it. Because of the revenues that they will generate.
Oh, it'd be still be a positive revenue.
Do what?
It'll still be positive revenue.
And actually, their fees, this year, the OSS, the septic system fees, from what I can tell, have been lower than last year. But again, Kevin didn't start until end of January. And
And some of the fees you don't even see because before they go file over there, they still have to come file in my office. $5.
mm,
And you don't see that because it's filed in there, so you don't get to see that part.
Sounds like the fire marshal can renovate his own space and.
well, there is actually money in his fund, and for those who don't know, he knows it now, and we know it, is the money he collects in fees and permits is his to spend, it doesn't go into the general fund. So,
Well, if you want to go back to that, we can get that Paul Michael refinish real quick. Sell the DA's office, and that right there would pay for a DA's office and a fire marshal's office and the TAC
okay,
office.
but I'm not going there, okay?
We don't even have a plan yet.
Yeah. The plan, you have to, we have to have the building before we can have a plan, it looks, it seems to be. All right, next, so we're in agreement, these positions are okay.
I'm okay, fire marshal.
Yep.
Are you?
I'm not okay with this next one though. Heck no.
That needs stuff outside.
Okay,
Why is it in red?
it's in red, if you look at the read at the bottom, it says positions in red will receive the 5 or the 3% increase. In other words, these positions are subject to whatever increase rate we are because they're part of a group of people that make the same rate. And so you don't want to hire them in at this rate and leave it there and then have everybody else at the same rate go higher. So they'll be there. So road hand.
How many you got now, Bobby?
No.
You got 9?
No, I think you got budgeted. You have budgeted the same number as Cliff and Brandon.
I'm done.
We've got 9.
I've got that.
Okay, and what's his name over there?
Kirk.
Mitch has 10. He's got
What would it cost to
one,
have a
and
position?
he's got one extra, and
What's-
you had indicated.
I was asking for.
You asked for 2, and I said, we could probably get 1, and so I put 1 in here. And now the decision is, do we want, what is the situation? Are you still not getting trustees?
No, I mean, matter of fact, I just had to hire yesterday, they started yesterday, I hired 2 seasonal for patching.
Mhm.
And I talked to Kevin last night or yesterday about the trustees. And it's all of the investigations been done on the trustee that passed away. But it hasn't been released from the Texas Rangers. And they are really slow at doing anything.
Yeah.
So he has no idea. So
Okay.
I hired 2 guys on season
We're gonna probably
To
gonna wait
help me
till
out.
after.
on patching.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna ask this question. I guess it's for 1 and 3. So 2 and 4 have 9 employees. 1 has 10, and 3 is 1 and 10. And 3 has a secretary. Mitch, were you asking for a secretary?
Could you repeat all that again?
Well,
You lost me on something.
Start for page
2 and 4 have 9 employees.
2 and 4 is 9, that's
Yes, we do.
15.
Precinct 1 has 10 employees. Precinct 3 is
Who's on
wanting
first?
10 employees. Are you wanting a secretary, Mitch?
I want a secretary.
Okay. So my question is, and I've always said this, if 2 and 4 only have 9 with no secretary, why would 1 and 3 want 10 plus a secretary when it all comes down? You can have 20 people or you can have 8 people. It comes down to money. And I'll take my situation right now. I've got 9 employees and I'm out of money. And we can overlay roads. I mean, we can go over there and patch and pick up trash and mow and everything, but why pay for a whole full-time employee when there's only so much money that can go? Now, if it was an unlimited, and you had money all year, it would make sense. But when you're out of money, you're out of money. And it doesn't matter how many employees you have. So why can't 1 and 3
So
go
what,
with 9?
so the process, so you want me to answer that for you?
Mhm.
So our process is tearing the road all the way down to the base, and your process is
Over.
covering the top. And it takes more manpower to do that.
I've got right now, we're doing a road. We're reclaiming it. And the way that we do it, I have 2 blade guys running, I have a mixer guy running. Then I have a guy on the reclaimer running, I have 2 drivers running, and then I was running in a truck today. And I have a guy in the grade aisle preparing the ditches and the culverts ahead of the reclaim machine. And then behind the reclaim machine comes the guys that are mixing and preparing it to relay. And then I'm still trying to patch roads that are,
No, you're never gonna catch up.
I will never catch up on patch. I will never.
Well, none of us will.
Well, but I mean, you guys got a better chance at it than I do. I promise you.
We're probably getting a truck someday and go ride over.
Y'all ought to come over. I'll take you for a ride.
Yeah,
He's-
My tires.
let's rent a bus.
I know,
I
Let's
can
charter a bus.
I can get all 5 of us in my duty.
I'm serious about that.
I can get all 5 of you in my duty.
We have to post the agenda for a meeting.
Yeah, we'd have to have have a meeting in my truck, so I can take you for a ride.
I actually think while we're on that subject, and I'm not opening this up. I just think that probably some of that surplus probably should go to Bobby and me. I mean, I'm not.
Surplus what?
Surplus of what?
Money.
I don't have surplus.
We have surplus. I don't want to argue about that. I was just saying that Bobby needs.
Well, I'm not
I need
gonna
help
argue,
and Bobby
I'm not
needs
gonna
worse.
argue with any of you over this one guy.
Mitch, you have budgeted.
No, you answered my question, I just didn't
I would
know.
love to have it.
Okay, then my next question will be,
How am I gonna pay for it?
no. No, have 1 and 3 thought about this? This is a suggestion. 1 and 3 each want their own secretary, which is another,
Mine's part-time.
why not share that secretary?
And I don't pay her that much. I'd have to look back, but she works. We do good.
Okay,
And
Mitch,
like
you
I
have
said,
$85,000 budgeted in your budget for part-time work.
That's correct.
And that, I think that's what covered the secretary.
That'll cover some of the secretary. I just want a part-time secretary.
That will cover more than-
I just think 20 hours a week's all I need.
That will,
That will cover. it.
we
You
more
got
cover, way more.
I know that. I use seasonal help some. I mean, like I'll have part-time patching or something during the summer.
And I've had 2 part-time, I had a part-time guy and a seasonal guy. And my foreman quit. So I moved Danny Phillips up and I moved my part-time guy up to full-time. Now I've got another guy that's leaving, so my other seasonal guy is moving into his position. But I still have 2 seasonal.
I
guys.
inherited another man's crew. And I did not, I wanted to make sure that I gave them a good chance. And I still am working towards that.
All right, let me just go through each precinct so that you all are aware. Again, precinct 1 has a part-time budget for 85,000, right, 89,000, I guess. And it has comp time of 15,000. Precinct 2 has a part-time budget of 37,800 and a comp time of 25,000. Precinct 3 has a part-time at 52,000 and a comp at 11,000. And precinct 4 has a part-time of 20,000 and a comp of 10,000.
Yeah, I have 2 part-time guys right now.
So, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, I'm just asking questions, I don't know the answer to.
Well, I knew it was coming.
Like precinct 1 and 3, again, part-time, 89,000 and 52,000. 2 is 37, 4 is 20. I know we have to use, especially in the summertime, everybody needs part-time help, there's so much going on. But in the wintertime, there's only so much we can do, and you already have 10 employees. And then you got more in the part-time, but there's not much that to do in the winter that I know of. I mean, I know my 9 employees can get it all done. But why would you need that much in part-time plus another person?
Well, you should ride over there in Bobby's section, and you said you've been in mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get, I understand in the summer.
No, we can, what we do in the
It
winter
has-
time, what I do in the winter time is I prep. For tearing that road down in the summertime.
Prep being the digging ditches out.
That means the base, that means the ditches, the culverts,
Yeah.
drainage, subgrade. You know, anything that you can do in winter when it's not sloppy wet. That's what I do. So every road that I'm gonna rebuild in the summertime, when my modus operandi is a boom axe down that road. Ditch work, culverts. And it's prepped, and they'll be ready to go into the.
Sorry. And then my question is, I mean, it's y'all's budget, and y'all can do what y'all want, but why not lower the part-time? Cause you've already got 10 guys, they can do what you just said in the winter, and you save that money, you can go into road and bridge material. That's,
Yeah, I could put a little bit of road and bridge material off my part-time, I could. I'm probably a little heavy, I mean, it's just pretty clear on paper, I'm heavy. Probably about $75,000. I'm heavy.
I'm sorry about that, what you're saying.
I'm probably heavy one employee. You know, if I came into a department where I had 10 guys that were solid. Could do anything I needed them to do.
yeah, and I mean, see, I'm just asking, I understand, your crew is not like my crew.
Right.
And just because you have the positions budgeted doesn't mean you have to fill them.
So I don't have them all full right now.
I'm just trying to see if you could get rid of some of that, and that could go in, then you have more.
I think that,
material.
I think that way too, I'm dealing with human beings.
Right.
And that have hired on, they have came there in good faith. And I'm trying to work my way through that. I won't use all of my salary budget this year, and probably won't use all my part-time budget this cycle.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's available to you for a secretary.
It is.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be real careful about what I hire as a secretary.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm not just going, I haven't put that out there that I'm looking for a secretary yet. I just did put it out there.
Have y'all ever thought about,
Hey, be
man,
fun.
I'm not getting y'all's, I guess I am getting y'all's business, I'm not meaning to, Sharon, and I don't even know if she'd be able, wanted to, or if you'd want to.
Well, Bobby already borrowed stuff from me and he won't bring it back, so I'll bring it back. We'll start getting my.
What's that saying? Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Well, yeah, but that is the same.
I just think it all comes back to, it doesn't matter if you have 8 employees, you've got 80 employees. You only got so much money to work with.
so much road and bridge material and equipment.
You know, and I just assume, if anything, is to cut one road hand position and add 2 part-time.
That's
Cost
Bobby and Mitch, I mean, me and Rick are-
Because, as you said,
I don't
there's only
think-
there's certain times of the year you
but-
need a lot more help. And then other times they get nothing to do. And,
I don't
Well, I
have
haven't-
any,
I
I
haven't
don't have
been through
any
that.
time where they have nothing to do.
I have not been through a time as a commissioner that there's nothing to do. After this winter, I can argue with you on that, but as of right now, the way our plans is we're gonna be rolling all winter.
Well, experience, you're not gonna keep a part-time for long term either, and experience in the road and bridge crew is necessary. I think that one of the big reasons why precinct 2 has pretty good roads is because Daryl Easley and Mike and these guys have been there for a long time and
Yeah.
know how to work machinery and
And,
know the
and,
roads.
and I have that now,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're not necessarily a long time with the county, but they have several years with the county,
They spent a good
you know,
bit in precinct 1.
but they have previous
Right.
road history that makes them really good. You
so
know,
let me ask this question. If you get your trustees back, do you need another road hand?
Judge, why are you picking on me and Bobby?
yeah, I don't
You
know.
know, I mean, I come in here in good faith.
I'm still going in that I need one, and
I wouldn't depend on the trustees, Judge.
no,
I mean, I wouldn't use them. They're more
they
pain than it seems. I never used them.
really, some of the requirements that you have to go through with them, it is a pain.
It is.
But if you get good ones.
And you can.
You can get some good ones right now.
And you don't, if they don't put out.
If they don't work, you don't have to get them tomorrow,
Yeah,
you know. You don't have to take if they're not working.
That just seems like a big head.
So I asked for $200,000 more money on material this year, knowing that I might have to give something up to get that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
all right, well, we're on new employees, a new road and bridge employee for precinct 3.
Yeah, I don't care what Bobby does. I mean, if he can afford it, like. He needs help, like the board.
And you know, really and truly, one may not make that much difference at the end of the day, but I feel like it will.
When you're sitting there with an odd number of guys and you might have one that goes out by himself, 2 will get 3 times as much done as 1 will.
And you know, I have a guy that I mean, we all have those that work on stuff, but I have one that I classify as my mechanic. And he was on that mixer yesterday mixing. He's not just a mechanic, he can do everything. You know, he runs the grade on. So,
Do you have your new one yet?
yes, sir. We got it last Wednesday night.
All right.
And it's
Okay.
been hammered. It's been working hard ever since.
All right, Cliff, you're the final say.
I have no problem.
Okay, we'll do that.
To me, I had 9, but I don't have enough road and bridge material money to keep 9 busy.
That's where I'm at.
Patching road, I mean, and overlaying and patching roads, but
Well, I'm moving money around.
yeah.
All
You
right.
know what I'm saying? To make it happen.
Next item was the jail. We had the discussion with the sheriff about the maintenance position. And I think, after seeing the maintenance, establishing a maintenance department here in the courthouse for the county is an incredible difference and it saved us money. And so I'm
I agree.
wholly for that
I'm for it.
because, they just, they've got an 8-cell, section that is out because of plumbing issues right now. And it's been out for some time, so yeah. All right, the next 2, dispatch. The sheriff did not request this when he came in and did his budget. But as I've been progressing along with this radio system, I am seeing we're gonna have a major issue in our dispatch center because of the system is not going to be set up initially when we get started to allow easy switching between the other fire departments, neighboring counties, the other fire departments to do what's called interop deal. which is going to put a big strain on the dispatch because they're going to have to be doing a lot more work in doing that. And so I called the sheriff and I asked him, did he have any issue with me requesting 2 additional dispatch people? Because, you know, again, is critical that we get this system when it gets up and running, that it works right. And we're going to have to rely on the dispatchers to get the stuff in the ways that are going to go until we are able to get the technology working to do the interop stuff. So that's why I requested 2. We have 3 stations there right now, 2 of which are run 24 hours. And the third one is kind of a backup, and the supervisor works on it. But we've already got the equipment. We can set that up, and that can become a full-time dispatcher there. And then by 2 positions, they don't have to run 24/7, but they'll be pretty close to doing that. And it would be a very useful thing to on this transition that we're going to have. So that's why I put those in there. You know, actually, I was going to also request a full-time, and this was something that was designed when we or suggested when we did the system, that we would have somebody that is head over the radio system that we would hire. It's kind of defaulted on Jeremy, but Jeremy's got multiple responsibilities and actually works for the sheriff's department, not strictly for the radio, but that's what his main role is. But in any case, is there any issues with us adding 2 dispatchers? That's over $100,000, close to $100,000. No, it's more than that because we got this insurance that we're adding to it. But I think we need to do that because it's critical that we have a successful implementation for the new system.
You think you need 2?
Well, you run 24 hours and they got 12-hour shifts, so that would not cover. That would cover 24 hours for 5 days.
How many we got now?
I believe it's 14
We got 14 dispatchers?
or 11. Hold on, one moment, please. We have the paperwork right here.
You have 2 dispatchers all at one time, all the time,
2 dispatchers are on 24/7.
so 376 hours, is that right? 336 hours a week.
Dispatch, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
168 hours a week.
There's 10 dispatchers and the supervisor. And we have all those positions filled.
It's 336 hours per week. And how many we have, you said, Judge?
10,
We're wanting 12?
yeah. But again, we're going from 2 positions to 3. So, and I'm not, the third one does not have to be operated all the time, but probably just when we know some peak periods.
So what are they gonna do whenever it's not a peak period?
Well, you wouldn't have them scheduled. You would have that third console that does not have to be scheduled.
So they're gonna just sit at home and run?
Well, if you look, we've got basically 4 positions scheduled for each console. And so, and we're running 2 consoles full time right now. So all I'm asking is add 2 more people to schedule the third console, but that's not going to be for a full 24/7.
So what am I doing here?
Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we run 2 consoles 24/7.
And they work how many hours?
They had 12-hour shifts.
So they just work, what,
I think it's
3
6 to
days?
6.
2 days?
Yeah, they work 4 days. 48 hours.
What's 336 divided by 12?
It's high level math.
12, 24, that's
336.
96.
30.
That's only averaging 25 hours a week, 28 hours a week. So if we add two to make it 12, they're, each dispatcher's only getting 28 hours a week.
Okay, they're getting, yeah, I don't know what their schedules are.
I was just saying,
So
if
I will be,
the way I got
I do
that,
know they work 12-hour shifts.
there's 336 hours in a week
No, there's 168 hours in a week.
times two.
I'm saying if you have two dispatchers, but he's saying put one extra on.
Yeah, one extra. So that's what I was trying to get at. Do we need two? I'm not saying we don't need one. I know that. I'm saying, do we need two?
Okay,
I mean, what do you think?
That's 504 hours a week total
well,
for three, if they work 40 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
if you're gonna have that console operated 24 hours, then you're gonna, it's gonna,
But you're saying that it's not needed 24 hours.
it's not. Initially.
Well, right now, you say we have,
What I'm saying is, I would like to go ahead and budget these. And actually, I've talked to the sheriff and say, we hire one immediately once the budget starts, and then we hold and wait and see if we need the second.
Yeah, but we were just talking about trimming the fat. So why not hire one now or budget one now? And then if it comes back,
That's
he
what he
needs the
said.
second one, he comes back and asks for that. Don't budget both of them.
If you have three of them and you're running 502 hours a week with what if you're having three of them 24/7, that's 502 hours. And if you have 12 now, 11 now, and you add one, that's 42 hours a week.
no, we have 10 now.
Okay. 504.
So if we had 11, basically you'd have
Well,
9, and then you'd have 2 floaters.
and Bobby, I actually do not have a problem with that concept. The situation has been, in the history since I've been here, you did not come back to the commissioner's course and ask for a new position.
Yeah.
That just
But-
didn't happen, but we had different commissioners.
But we were just, I mean, am I not understanding it right, what we were just talking about a while ago, that if you needed something else, you come back before the court, and if it was justified,
Right.
then we could see to do it.
But I believe things can be different, but in that particular section, when you look at your budget, the one thing that Sandy would not allow us to do is that right there.
But was that a Sandy law or was that a law?
Don't ask me. We'll have to look it up and we put it in the code.
Oh, are you still here?
Don't know.
Ben, are you still here?
There's Ben. What do you think, Ben? We're gonna have Benjamin laws now.
I seen his eyes, wandering around a while ago.
She would not allow us to move money.
Oh, in that top line, in that top.
yeah.
Those line items.
We could,
To
yeah,
go back and forth because.
well, we did
that
it
was
once, yeah, and
And different elected officials got sideways because the sheriff's office was doing exactly that and raising salaries all over the place when other elected officials.
Right,
Yeah, it could turn into a cluster.
Yeah, what I heard is the school I went to was that this is called the commissioner's court.
Yeah, you're right.
and what does that mean?
Means we make the decisions.
But we also gotta take into
Are we on
consideration,
commission?
how much headache is that for you?
And whether we're right or wrong.
It's- Yeah, if there's nothing against that, it could do that. I mean, it could be abused, which is probably why she tapped the brakes on it.
Yes.
It's not abused.
Well, let's just go with one for right now. And we may come back and ask for another, is that okay?
Okay.
All right, so we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
There's $120,000 we got rid of right there.
yeah. We only killed two of the 8 positions, but it's okay.
Did we kill
And
mine?
I agree, no, we didn't, we approved it. So do that. All right, next one that we go to is the district attorney. No, these were part-time, actually, part-time. The libraries asked for a 20-hour week, part-time position. They asked for that last year. We didn't give it to them. They're asking for it again this year. They have basically 2 full-time employees in the library and a lot of volunteer people. This is something that we want to, I would put a condition, if y'all don't mind, if we're gonna do this, is to ask that they be open more hours. I don't know if they can comply with that or not, but, you know, they're closed on Monday and they have limited hours. I think one day a week they're open late, but, I'd like to see them be open a little bit longer, so.
I don't have any, I ain't been to a library for 30 minutes in my lifetime,
I don't,
any library.
Did you early vote?
No. I didn't.
Okay.
he didn't.
I know a lot
I'm
of
talking
people.
about college, I don't think I went to a library in college.
He didn't vote.
He didn't vote. He
No,
didn't vote at all.
From what I heard, listening to the lady, what I got
Yeah.
was that they were wanting relief
Right.
from some of their
Right.
duties.
Because they don't, if one of them's out, they can't get stuff done. But- and it's not significant, the amount we're talking about,
I would like to give it to them and not ask them anymore.
okay? Not for.
And what?
okay,
I don't wanna put no more hours on them.
Okay.
Like that's just where I'm at. I'm okay with whatever you wanna do, but I
I'm
would just
but not
like,
making a condition on this, but say I'd like to see you open, okay? We'll do that, all right, so that one's okay. The next one is the constables, you heard,
To live for them.
Mr. Keltner, or Bob Officer Keltner, Commissioner, I'm getting there, Constable Keltner explained the need for a part-time deputy, and they wanted to have 2 part-time deputy constables, one that would fulfill precinct 2 and 3, and one that would do 4 and 1. I believe was the 2, and at $37,500 each.
I actually agree with that, not giving only 4 or only 2 a deputy, but split them.
were they all in favor of that? Tommy was in favor of that too?
Yeah, I think so. Tommy didn't show up this year, but I'm sure he's in favor of
He was
it.
in court the day that.
Was he?
He was actually in court, right?
Yeah. Well,
So-
and that's what, if, for those that don't know, the constables actually have to be in the JP court when they're having session, to monitor stuff. And, you know, I don't know what actually happens when the constable's unavailable.
I don't know when they sleep.
Tommy doesn't.
Yeah, Tommy-
I don't know. Well, Jeff's the same way.
Busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeff is there if I call him. If I need him, he's there. I mean, just, boom.
I don't,
They help us with elections, I'll be honest with you. If I call them and say, hey, all hands on deck, they are there.
Mhm.
so I would say hire 2 and split them between the 4 precincts. Have one, however they said,
Okay.
1 and 3 and 2 and 4.
Have about some kind of rotation where, you know, they can help out. And I guess, I don't know what would be their other duties besides this, you know, making sure they're assisting the JP.
Well, we need to get there with the constables on that, really.
Yeah.
Well, that could sure ease up when the constable was having to be in the court. He probably wouldn't want an assistant in the court,
Right.
but he could be out doing some of the JP
Right.
stuff while
Warrants.
he's in the
Yeah.
court.
Serving warrants
Right.
and stuff, because we actually make money off of that.
Yeah.
Can the constable, this is a stupid question, I probably should know this, but I've done it. I know they go and make evictions and everything, but like, crimes, like when you call the sheriff's office, can the constable show up? Do they have that authority?
They definitely show up, like if, I just remember they showed up at our church, we got a call in the middle of the night that somebody had broken into our church or whatever, alarm went off. And Pastor Jordan showed up, it was, actually, his people showed up before constables, I guess volunteers showed up, but we were half showed up.
So in my opinion, if you had that, you know, you might could put somebody like on night patrol. Don't tell them what nights, maybe not every night.
Right.
and you'd have somebody within these precincts that are close.
Well, it could definitely help out even with the sheriff's department on that, like you're talking about.
I don't think Tommy's in the loop on this.
Yeah, Bob said he talked to Tommy, I think, don't quote me on that, but he said he talked to all 4 constables, that all 4 have got together. He didn't say Tommy in general, he said all 4 got together.
But we're talking about these, we're talking about 2 and 4 splitting.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah, two-
said 1 and 4 would split one, and 2 and 3 would split one. I'm good with it.
You got an issue with it?
No, I just don't think he's in the loop on
You just don't think that what?
it, that Tommy's in the loop.
I don't know why Tom would be against it. Cause he could benefit from it big time, I think.
He's a different kind of fellow.
I know Tommy very well. I've known Tommy all my life. But I don't think he's that difficult. I think,
Yeah.
I'm just on the phone with him right now. I'm just telling you,
he's against it.
no, he's not against it. It just looks like I don't know that he's in the loop on it.
So.
Well, it comes back to what you just said.
This ain't stop-
This is a commissioner's court. It's way back the decision.
I mean, like,
And you said it.
All right, I'm
I'm not
gonna
getting in Tommy's business.
I'm gonna leave them in there.
It can be changed. Let's leave them in there to start.
Okay, so we didn't cut much out of this, but
But we will before we talk.
you know,
Yeah, Bobby
I
Rogan.
just agree that
Bobby's guy.
one of the things that,
So,
you know, our population is gone up 100,000 in the last 5 years, 6 years.
100,000.
10,000, I'm sorry, 10,000. And,
Sound like something.
yes, I'm exaggerating, right? Or
I didn't say that.
embellishing.
Just need to be quiet on it.
Okay,
you're just Randy.
Discretion shall preserve thee.
okay. So, and, you know, we are not adding a lot of people to handle the additional workloads that are there. And in that regard, I think we're just trying to keep up right now. We're not really doing a whole lot to, we're just trying to keep up with what we've got moving, so. All right, last one is DA and district judge supplement. The state, after the recent increases in salaries for this state judges, and they also allowed the district court district judge to accept up to $25,000 in supplemental pay from the county. Because the district judge, and that is what Judge Martin has requested, is to be bumped up to that level at the current. And typically the district attorney gets the same kind of supplement amount as the district judge does. That's why they're both currently $7,500, and that was set $7,500 last year. Due to some other circumstances that required us to start paying the judge, the district judge, the supplement amount, so it was set at 7,500. So he's requested to go to 25,000. He says it's for stuff that he does for the county outside of the district judge responsibilities.
I got one question.
Yes.
Why should we treat the district court and district attorney who are elected officials any different than us?
But again, they're not actually county employees. They're state employees. But they do work for the county. They do stuff for the county, and that's kind of what they're for.
They're elected by the county.
Yes, they are.
And you can ask the same old question, what makes, I know they have a law degree, they went to school, they're a lawyer, doctors, lawyers, or whatever, but their job, they have a bunch to do, but it's no different than Susan or the district clerk or commissioners or whatever. I mean, we all got our plates full. I mean, I don't see why we should treat them any different than we treat us.
Okay. So, are you saying then that we don't need to pay them a supplement at all?
I'm saying we'll go with the raise.
So are you okay with the current 7,500 a year?
What percent is that?
Well, that's what they got last year.
That's what.
That's what they got this year. They approved, y'all approved that last year.
Right.
The 7,500 and $2. So if you give them 3%, I don't know what that comes to, but if that's what we give everybody else.
Right.
But my question is still even answered.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't, that 17,000.
I don't know a lot about Honda, but just watching Chris, Mr. Martin, the way he runs his office, it's pretty tight. He does a pretty good job on it, doesn't he?
I think they do a great job. I'm not saying they don't do a good job, but you know,
I'm not
Did-
sure,
did they-
I don't
did they-
have a full grasp on
They draw
And I'm working for the
state
state.
salary
That's correct.
plus
They
this.
they are paid, yes, and then we pay them this amount right here.
but it's no different. I mean, I can say Andy runs a tight ship, Susan runs a
it. No, I'm
tight ship.
saying like.
Mitch, you
what
run a
is
tight
the,
ship, let's give you $25,000
Okay,
raise.
just saying, what is the? So the state pays them their salary,
That's correct. And the
and then
state-
this is a supplemental.
And the state sets their salaries. And the state, just in this last legislative session, gave them a raise, the first one in 12 years.
Let's do it somewhere in the middle of that, like.
There's 225%.
No.
What if we just raised it 2,500 to 10,000?
On 7,500
Yeah, that's probably.
Okay, I'm seeing, okay,
times 3%.
so right now the county pays them $7,500.
Right.
Correct.
Supplement.
Okay. Now I can see more than a 5% raise, because what was it?
That was at
$250?
That was at 3%, it was $225.
Yeah, I could see more than that, but.
I'm thinking-
17.5?
I'm thinking if you doubled it, you're at 15, that's way more than I would.
Right, that's what I just said. What if we went
Do
to
it,
10?
do it
I was
at 10 or
thinking
12,
10.
5, something, somewhere in the middle of that, somewhere in the middle of that, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to
Give
giving them a raise. I just don't think it's fair for,
10.
you know, all
I've
these
got
other
three,
people.
I've got 3 10s.
10.
Let's start with 10.
That's all you need is
We might
3.
go a little more than that.
Okay. All right, so that, is there anything else? Do you want me to go through the budget tonight? And start cutting those areas that are unjustified?
That'd be very appreciated by me.
And what I do when I go in and I put a number in that I have put in, is I change it to Rick.
No.
So anybody can
Just
see.
stay away from my budget, so.
Nope.
It's unlikely that.
Do you want me to leave the $1 million in? I know you put 600,000 in, 200, and you put 200, I think, Brandon.
Huh?
What you increase your road and bridge materials?
That's been too long ago. I have to
Okay.
actually go back and look.
I wanted to ask for more than that.
Yeah. Well, no, they're gonna have to be adjusted. You want me to adjust them now, or you wanna wait till later?
No.
That's all I'm asking.
You could increase mine. I still have.
You use the
Use my
same
money.
I use the same 818, right?
I use the same just because I want to.
Have each of y'all gotten the phone, with Ben to find out what your fund balance is?
No, not with Ben.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Well, we peeled back 168 grand
Mhm.
today.
Yeah,
To start.
Well, my fund balance is 750,000.
I think mine's more than what I thought it was supposed to be.
Well, Ben, do you have those yet? I know. Okay, 'cause
You're gonna have
I
to
don't think
speak
he
up.
knows nowhere.
You're gonna have to talk louder.
we're gonna give him a microphone.
But no, I don't have. Always second, I guess it's George.
Right. All right, So is there anything else? Because gentlemen, I am, it's gonna be a long night. Yeah, I gotta have all this done.
Well, I appreciate your efforts on that.
Thank you.
In securing those numbers.
I appreciate you bringing that point that we need to be more, we need to streamline it more.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good.
And make it consistent, you know, another thing is on the constables, fuel. Okay, you got one that's got 9,000, another 7, another 5, and then they're not even hitting anywhere close to those. So most likely I'm gonna go into constables and change their fuel to one set amount for every constable.
Yeah, I think, it'll make a difference to knowing that they can come back.
I think so too. They got them scolded somewhere.
But I think that we should, as it relates to that, I don't think every precinct is gonna be the same, because each one of them will have separate numbers related to the number of cases that they've had and all this. And so I think if we look at the prior years, that'll give us a better idea, indication of whether or not.
Right.
Yeah,
Look at the
I agree
history.
with Cliff. I
Yes.
don't think you can set just all 4 of them at 5,000.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to.
So I think, I believe if some of these courts have double the number of evictions. Garrett won't let me find out. I don't know if precinct 2 has the number of evictions, that's something, you know.
Yes.
Because the lake properties that they're in Brando's are likely to have many more, because they have more that are associated with rental properties than. Mine are a lot more likely to be single family, non-rental dwellings. than some of the other persons.
So is that new development behind the Farm Bureau, is that precinct 2?
Yes, it is.
I thought that's in the city.
Yeah, I think it is in.
Yeah, that's,
But I mean,
that's
it
an
is-
ETJ.
Is that a half a mile? Outside the sheets of it, just probably need that lake radius.
All right, if there is nothing else, I will close the meeting at 10:08, at 4:08, excuse me.
You'll be closing, you'll be closing shop tonight at 10:08, what you'll be doing.
10:08, I'll be asleep.
The judge will still be handing out numbers.
Yeah. Don't not call me at 10:08.
I might think that's bad to do.
I think I'm gonna call you at 10:08 tonight.
Yeah, y'all probably
Got a journal somewhere? Keep a journal?
You can most likely call me at midnight and probably at 2, and you will get me. I will answer the phone.
I might answer, but you might not like it all.
You gonna wait till talking?
Yeah, there's coffee in the house. I didn't make it, I think Keegan made it.
Well, that was the 3%. That would be,
Both of
they
them.
would all be subject to the 3%. So, yeah,
Whatever the general numbers are, where we.
that's actually what, we vote on tomorrow. And we said no on the 2% until we figured out what the actual numbers were, correct? The 2, okay, I'm gonna run down and see. Jessica may not be, see if she's here.
I don't know. Yeah. That's something else too. Judge, you might can answer this. How does that fund balance work? I mean, how do we, like, I know it has to stay in there a year. But then can we bring that out of that into our budget if we choose to?
I don't know that it has to stay there a year, but it's money it's you get. In other words, money you don't spend by the end of the year stays in a fund balance that opens up the first of the year. And yes, you move that into your contingency balance.
Contingency.
Yes.
Still on it.
Okay, and one of the questions that was also raised is, some of y'all don't have contingency budgeted.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't, because I didn't know what number available was.
Okay.
I didn't change
Whatever.
whatever because I didn't know what the number.
But I told in the auditor's office, I said, put everything that is available into the contingencies.
That's what I would choose. That's what I would choose.
That's the way it should be. Every dollar that's available should be in a budget line item somewhere. So I would put $1.7 million in there, and then y'all reduce it to whatever is actually done.
I'm not even-